everyone. This is Neetu Agarwal, Managing Director and CEO, Canberra Global Sourcing. I am from DLC's Global SCM Committee, Kolkata chapter. Our topic today is building safety and diversity in the global supply chain. This topic is quite close to my heart because we are in this sourcing and supply chain from last couple of decades. Everything that goes into it for the workers' safety is a part of what we do. So, today let's begin with understanding what is a supply chain. Supply chain is a whole network of process that goes into making of a product, conceptualizing it, planning it, and taking it to the end consumer. The supply chain has a number of processes which we can take from the stage of develop, plan, source, make, deliver, and customer service. So, a product which starts from the conceptualization of the concept to the delivery to the end consumer and the consumer feedback are all part of the supply chain. So, when we talk about supply chain, we are talking about all the stakeholders in that supply chain, including the whole supplier base, the investors, the people who are working in our organization, the people who are there in different stages of the supplies, starting from the raw materials till the finished products, the logistic companies, the deliverables, and the retail sources where we are going to put our product to go to its end consumer. So, when we talk about safety, safety takes a complete meaning because we are taking it from the conceptualization of the product right to the end consumer. It takes the whole band of workers, people who are involved in its making, manufacturing, or distribution. It starts right from the farmer who grows the cotton which goes into your apparel to the last person in the retail store who picks up that carton box to get the products ready and displayed into the racks for you to see and to buy them. When we talk about safety, we are talking about occupational health and safety for the workers or for the people who are there involved in the whole supply chain. Right from everybody who is into the manufacturing process, it is the responsibility of the organization, of the company, to ensure that everybody is equated the same amount of safety and proper gear to make sure that they are having the same kind of protective environment for them to discharge their duties fully and without any fear in their mind of getting hurt or getting injured. If we look at the reports of UN Global Compact from 2021, there are more than 7,000 people who die on their jobs every day, which means close to 3 million people every year die on job. That means doing what you and I do regularly, going to work, earning their living, they are dying and losing life. Not only that, more than that, 372 million people actually involve into non-fatal injuries, get involved into accidents and other health hazards while discharging their duties. This is the number which is quite alarming for all of us. And as entrepreneurs, as people who are holding industries, people who are responsible for the whole supply chain, it becomes our responsibility to make sure that we cater to this in such a way that safety becomes a paramount norm of our whole supply chain. It is important for everybody into sourcing and procurement to ensure that the whole supply chain is transparent. They have certain values, they have certain standards and certain norms that they follow, certain things that they are doing to ensure that the people who are engaged in the whole process are safe and they are safeguarded to each and every process which is there. When we talk about the mining industry, when we talk about the industry that has a natural course of health hazards, we have to make sure that there are certain safety norms which are followed to ensure that these workers, though they are exposed to these areas, into this environment, they do not get much everlasting effect on their health and physique per se. There are different bodies which are there. UN Global Compact with ILO has formulated different rules and regulations and also formulated different norms with lot of companies which are conscious, socially conscious, and who are responsible. They are going to follow this and ensure that the product that you get at the end of the day is ethically sourced. If all of you know about Rana Plaza incident that happened way back, so that time the whole world got up and took notice of what exactly is happening. And it started, where do your clothes come from? Right. So the person who is making it, in what condition are they making the product that you're wearing? More and more people are getting more conscious about where the product that they are using are coming from. When you talk about this, you start talking about the sourcing and the whole supply chain, traceability and tracking of the things right from the inception. The process more and more organizations across the globe now follow, take care of this whole thing to make sure that they are conscious about the whole supply chain. They make sure that the suppliers follow the rules, certain supplier code of conduct, and they follow certain standards worldwide, which is expected when these goods are made and sold to the end consumer. At the end of the day, when we are talking about environment, when we are talking about people, we are talking about their health and safety. So what many companies have done is they've started tracking and traceability. They make sure that all the suppliers that they have some kind of a plan and commitment towards their workforce. They have those things written down into their own SOPs, into their code of conduct, into their processes, which is there how the things would flow. They make sure that this is tracked on an annual basis. Everything is traced to it, what it is required for. There's audit and redemptions. So the audit process that these organizations go through make them sure that they are on their toes, making sure that the workforce that is engaged is properly catered to as per the requirement of the industry, of the society, and of the supply chain. Engagement with the workforce often comes in handy in this case. More and more management around the world are getting more conscious about the whole plethora of the things that is surrounding their processes, and they want to become much more inclusive, much more engaging, and much more better workplace. So they engage their workforce into this. They try to understand the hazards, the complications, and also the ergonomics when they are doing any work, and they are trying to put in much more effort into simplifying those processes, making it much more friendly for the user or the person who is working on that particular area. Keeping that in mind, when we look forward to the safety, regulations alone would not help anybody. It is the whole supply chain that has to be conscious about it. When the buyers are going or sourcing products from different companies, they can always put in that, okay, I would need certain products, certain ways, certain making, but are you paying for it? The buyers have to be consciously allowed to make a decision that yes, when you are talking about the worker health and safety, when you are talking about ethical and responsible sourcing, when you are talking about the whole supply chain which is transparent, you have to be prepared to shell out that extra that goes into the cost. Always the cheapest is not the best. Always the most economic is not economic at all. So we have to look at that aspect and we have to know that yes, what we are wearing today, are we wearing with a conscious mind that yes, I am happy wearing it because it is coming from somewhere. A person has been paid well, a person had been taken care of, and the environment has been preserved while making this product for me. Consciousness about the health hazards, proper training, manuals about possible injuries, engaging the workforce will always make them feel cared for. And a happy and cared for workforce is always more productive, they are more efficient, and at the end result, the product that comes out is much nicer than you find in the sweatshops or you find in the place which is not ethically or not responsibly managed. The topic is quite big and we can go on for days, but this is in nutshell what we would like to focus on right now. And now we come to the second point part of it, which is diversity in the global supply chain. When we talk about diversity, we mean that diverse suppliers are engaged in the process of any organization of its sourcing and making of the products. What is diverse businesses? Diverse businesses are those which are owned 51% or more by group or community or people who are underrepresented or underserved. Enterprises which are run by women, enterprises which are run by minorities, enterprises which are run by people who are disabled, enterprises which are run in the far off areas which is much more difficult for people to get to. They all fall under this diversity plan. More and more organizations are looking into this diversity and they are making it as a part of their sourcing solution, or I would say the whole supply chain. This gives them not only much more better people to work with, much more diverse supplier base, this brings down their cost also. When you look at the diverse supplier base, all these suppliers are smaller organizations. They are mostly owner run companies which have their own input into running and making sure that the end product which comes out of it is much better quality, much controlled in cost, and timely delivered because they have to keep themselves in business. Keeping that in mind, more and more companies are involved into diverse sourcing. They are making it as a part of their agenda. They are going to far off places. They are going to the places which people did not go to earlier because it was too difficult to reach, it was too difficult to manage, it was too difficult to communicate with. That is why the different sourcing companies have come in who help this larger organization to reach to these builds, to reach to these diverse suppliers, and hence create the product. These products might be more cost efficient, this might be innovative. This would be giving you a faster turnaround, and hence your final product could reach your end consumer much faster, thereby reducing the overall cycle of the product from its planning stage to the final end consumer's hands, thereby reducing the whole cost of capital that is involved in the whole program. Diversity not only has this advantage, but it also has the advantage of increasing revenues. It also has the advantage of bringing in the new markets which were not explored hitherto. When you're looking for the suppliers, you're looking for a market in that area also. That helps a business to grow much faster, and it brings around an inclusive growth, a growth that is taking everybody, the whole periphery, into account and making sure that people grow together. And when they are growing together, we make for a happier planet, we make for a happier earth, and we make for a much more meaningful supply chain. So that's all from me, folks. Thank you all for listening to me. The topic is wide and varied, and we can talk about it for days. But that's it for today with the session. Thank you, DLC, for giving me this opportunity to share this with all of you. And I thank all of you to listening to me. Looking forward to see you all again. Thanks for me. Bye.